Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Ty Gay here. This is my good buddy Gabe. He's helping me out today with some techniques. And yeah, we're going to talk about some things, some procedures that I do from the back. And this is, a lot of people know this kind of gripping sequence and everything from John Donaher, who's an amazing instructor. Shout out to John. But he typically does this no gi. I'm sure he does it with the gi too, but we do it here with the gi on, and so let's take a look at it here. Let's see if we look at it. I'll demonstrate it once and I'll explain it with a little bit more detail. That's the good stuff right there. So this is a cross collar choke from the back with arm isolation. So I have his top arm isolated here. So what typically goes on anytime I get to the backpack, one of the crucial things about the backpack is I have an underhook and I have an overhook. The underhook arm will always be grabbing my overhook arm. If I had it the other way, Gabe, pull my arms apart. If he pulls this apart, I get this little T-Rex arm right here that really doesn't help me at all. But if I switch the arms and he peels my arms apart, pull them apart, I have my choking arm ready to attack. So just as a rule, we're always going to have the underhook arm hiding the top arm. Now check it out. When I get onto the side, I'm going to make an angle by putting my foot on Gabe's hip, scooting my hips closer to his shoulder blades, and chopping my leg that's on the bottom way up high on his rib cage. Now I'm going to start to control his arm. I like to control the top arm with both of my arms. Even if he's trying to fight me, grab your hands wherever you want. He's going to allow me to get to that other wrist. This is known in most circles nowadays as a straight jacket. So when we get to this position, it's a very good position to be able to control our opponent at. I'm still making sure my head is below Gabe's. I'm still making sure I'm cutting my angle with my legs. So I'm very kind of in this little ball. Now I'm going to take this top arm of Gabe's and I'm going to push it down. When I do that, it gives me access to it with my foot. I'm going to take my heel and go over the top, put it very close to my hand. There are a lot of people that like to carve this thing and put it behind the back, and that's cool. I like that too. But I find a lot more use out of just crossing my feet. So I cross my feet right here, and now he can't get his arm back, which is pretty great. Now, I'm going to push this hand that I have down, and I'm going to grab over his knuckle line. When I have his knuckle line, he can't get away. If I was to have this arm like this, he can straighten his arm out and kind of get out of my grip right there. But if I have his knuckle line, go ahead and get your arm out of there. He's stuck like Chuck right there. Now, if his head was down and kind of looking south, he's trying to prevent me from getting my hand in the collar. But when he has the collar on, it's much easier to obtain than just the rear naked strangle. So I'm gonna kind of crawl my hand and get my thumb inside of his collar. Once my thumb is inside the collar, that's all I need. I release the grip on his hand and pull out the slack of that collar. Now I'm gonna make my fist right here. I need to have my fist very strong right here. None of this, it's gotta be this. Once I create the fist, I can go to the opposing side collar and just take out the slack. Once I have the slack taken out, I'm gonna get away from Gabe and straighten both of my arms, which creates a pretty tight strangle right there. So let's take a look at it again. I'm in a backpack, I'm shrugging my shoulders. Anytime I'm in a backpack, I'm gonna shrug my shoulders, it keeps me on their back. I'm gonna fall to the side, I'm gonna create an angle. This is very important because if I was just like this, he might be able to get over my foot and get out. Or if my head wasn't under his head might go to the ground and again, get out. So this blocks his two ways of escape. Once I have the two directions of escape blocked, I'm gonna go ahead and start collecting his top arm. I'm gonna hold on to his top arm with a seat clamp grip and I'm gonna pull it to his body. Now from here, if he doesn't do anything with this hand, I might try to start strangling him right now. He will always try to defend that. When he defends it, grab my hand. He gives me this arm, hold on to it tight. Now, if he has my arm tight, he's putting himself in the straitjacket. I don't really have to grab it. I could push this down and trap it, but if you want to get this hand out, we're gonna pretend like it's a fish out of water. I'm gonna use my elbow and pull my elbow behind his head. Don't let go of my hand, no matter what you can do. I'm gonna come back and now I have the straitjacket. So you didn't have to do that, grab my wrist again. I could do it from here where I just put this through and trap everything and then come back through and start grabbing. But if you feel like you wanna get your hand free, just take your hand, start twisting it like this and rip it out. Shoot back, and now you have a straitjacket. Push the bottom one down, top leg goes over, touch your own hand with your heel. Once you do this, release his hand and cross your feet. It is imperative that the foot that goes over initially is on top. If I did it the other way, there's a gap right here and he could get his hand back through this gap and he could get out. So I want to make sure that that's blocked. Now he can't get back out. Now I'm going to push this hand down. I'm going to trap his knuckle line. I have to trap the knuckle line. You see how my arm's kind of moving in X right there. It's the most efficient way. Now, no matter where he's just keeping his head down or looking south, doesn't matter. I'm just going to crawl my hand until my thumb goes inside of his collar. Once my thumb is inside the collar, I'm going to release his grip and pull out the slack. Make a fist and reach for the opposing side collar. Now I take the slack out of that one and I start to get away from Gabe, straightening my arms, which creates the blood choke right there. So, things to remember. Whenever I'm falling on to the side, I'm always shrugged. And I never want to hang out with my feet just here. I always want to cut my angle to block his lines of escape. And I've seen a lot of people immediately go to the straitjacket. That's fine. But I like to start off with just controlling one at a time. If I control one, more than likely they're going to try to defend with their other arm, and I can start to grab that thing. If they don't defend with this, we start to bother the neck. He's got a free hand. He's going to pull that hand down of mine. Once he does that, he is trapping himself in the straitjacket. I can either fish out of water and grab it, or I can leave it grabbing my wrist, and I can trap his bottom arm. If I do it that way, it's easier. Then I just come through, I grab over his knuckle line, and I pull my arm out, and now we're good to go for the choke. You could smother him, I guess, but that's not very friendly. He's got a collar on, so let's just go into the collar. Once you get the collar, don't forget, let's pull the slack out of that side first. It gets it tighter, and then we'll go to the other side and pull the slack out of that one to create a good blood choke right there. So, this backpack position there, I use it anytime I'm on the back. There's never a time where I'm just leaving my legs just equal in between his legs right there. And I never cross my feet, not because I'm afraid to get submitted right there, but because it's not as good a control. Whenever I kind of carve off to the side like that, which in some circles is called a triple threat position, it really makes it hard for him to escape. There are some things that can be done there. Maybe we'll cover it in another video, but for the most part, he's in deep water right there. And then, once we isolate the arms and trap one arm, he can't defend, so he's defenseless. So this is what would be considered an uncontested gi strangle with a cross-collar choke. So, anyway, I hope you find some cross-collar chokes in your future, and thanks to Gabe for letting me attack his neck today. See you on the mat. Peace.